Tonight we will look at physical activity and how we can get kids active. So before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands we are meeting on today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people present today. We'll cover the importance of physical activity, the types of physical activity and fundamental movement skills, physical activity recommendations for children, and ways to encourage kids to be physically active. So physical activity is associated with a wide range of health benefits for kids, and it is beneficial across their lifespan as they gain skills in movement. Some important health benefits of being physically active during childhood and adolescence include skeletal development and bone strength, supporting brain development, increased muscle control, balance and coordination, improved overall well-being, and an increased likelihood of physical activity throughout their life. Participating in physical activity and limiting sedentary behaviour is central to a child's health now and later in life. Being active can positively affect sleep patterns, mental health, concentration, self-esteem, and confidence. It also helps to achieve and maintain a healthy weight and relationship with movement as they get older. So we know that establishing good habits from an early age means children are more likely to continue those health behaviours as an adult. When a child has confidence in his or her ability to take part in sport without fear of making a mistake, they are more likely to participate, and if they enjoy the activity, they are more likely to continue with it. This confidence encourages kids to try new and different activities without fear. As parents and carers, you play a key role in helping your child to develop this confidence by providing opportunities and engagement to be active. So as mentioned, part of physical activity is developing skills. There are some skills in particular which help children to participate and enjoy sport and leisure activities, and these are called fundamental movement skills, or FMS. FMS are the building blocks of movement and form the foundation of many of the specific motor skills required in sports and leisure activities. For children to have success in sport, either recreationally or competitively, it is important that they master fundamental movement skills. FMS includes skills such as running, jumping, throwing, and kicking. Importantly, FMS also allow children to interact and explore the environment around them. Children who have mastered FMS are more likely to be physically active, have adequate cardiorespiratory fitness, and are less likely to be overweight or obese compared to children who have not. Children need to be taught FMS and be provided with opportunities to practice these skills. Although this is done in childcare services and at school, it takes between 6 and 10 hours of instruction time to master a fundamental movement skill. So the more practice a child can get, the better. So how much movement should children have each day? The Australian 24-hour movement guidelines can help to answer this. These guidelines include a picture of what a child's day during a 24-hour period should look like, including active play, time spent sitting and lying down, and the ideal amount of sleep. We know that no one day will be the same, but you can use this information as a guide to help you shape a child's daily activities to best support their growth and development. The guidelines differ across the age groups, so let's take a look at them now. Infants less than 12 months are recommended to be physically active several times a day in a variety of ways, particularly through supervised interactive floor-based play. So for infants not yet mobile, this includes at least 30 minutes of tummy time, such as neck extensions, reaching and grasping, pushing and pulling spread throughout the day during wake times. So toddlers between the age of 1 and 5 require at least 180 minutes spent in a variety of physical activities, including energetic play spread throughout the day. The more, the better. Remember to minimise time spent being sedentary every day. Break up long periods of sitting as often as possible. And when sedentary, engaging in activities such as reading, singing, puzzles, and storytelling are encouraged. So now I'm going to hand you over to Wade, who is going to take you through the second part of tonight's webinar.
Thanks, Ali. So now that we've looked at the physical activity recommendation, I think it's time to look at some practical tips on getting active each day and getting your kids active each day. So the first cab off the rank and the top of our list here is time. And so we want to create some time. So this can be 5 or 10 minutes before or after dinner, or potentially before or after school. So remembering that our 60 or our 180 minutes of physical activity does not need to be achieved all at once. So it can be accumulated throughout the day, so in small, fun and easy ways. Our next one on the list is space. So find some space close without going too far, I guess, just to create some open space for you and your family and your children. So this could be some more play dates with family or friends. So it could also be taking a train stop away to a local park, or potentially even finding some school grounds during school holidays. So there is a great initiative run by the Department of Education, which is called Share Our Space. So I suggest everyone here tonight just to pop on and have a Google of that one and have a look at that initiative. It is a good one, and we will follow up with some information in our correspondence after this webinar around that one. But essentially the program, it opens green spaces and places with play equipment at participating schools during the school holidays. So this is particularly helpful for families that might have some limited open community spaces. Our next one on the list is cost. So when we think of movement, think of ways we can get our kids moving rather than, it doesn't always have to be things such as organised sport. Obviously organised sport is a good one though. So it can be regular tummy time, it can be visits to the park, or it could just be exploring, I guess, your local neighbourhood as well. If it is organised sports, there are some Active Kids vouchers to help families out with the cost side of things. So that this particular strategy I will cover once again in a little bit more detail in a later slide as well. The next one on the list there is the equipment. So selecting activities that require minimal facilities and equipment, such as walking and jogging. Like we said before, bike riding is always a good one. As well as skipping ropes is also a popular one as well. So you could also ask your school or even potentially your sports club if they have any old or unutilized equipment at any stage throughout, I guess, a given year that they might not be using at that particular time as well, that would be beneficial to your particular situation. And the last one on there is the lack of interest. So obviously helping finding activities that they enjoy, that your kids enjoy, and also that they have fun doing as well. So another big one is obviously being that role model. So if they see you enjoying the activity, they will also enjoy that activity. So if that's kicking a ball in the backyard, so be, or it could potentially even be dancing in the living room as well. So that would be awesome as well. So almost all individuals here online tonight will be able to access the awesome government initiative, which is the Active Kids vouchers. So 2 by $100 vouchers for each child are available to be accessed by parents and carers of school age children each year. And so that school age range is from 4.5 years all the way up to 18 years. So these vouchers can be used to subsidise sports and recreation costs each year. So that could be equipment or sign-up fees, and it can be accessed through the Service New South Wales option. So for those parents and carers with children of the younger age, so younger than 4.5, I will urge you just to hold tight. So obviously our children, they grow up so fast, and you will soon be able to access this great initiative as well. So keep that one in mind if you do have some younger children that might be growing in that age bracket that we just mentioned. So once again, some further information on this particular initiative will be provided as well in our follow-up information. Alrighty, so we want to make sure that we are giving kids plenty of opportunity each day to be physically active. So this not only helps with many benefits of movement, it also helps solidify those fundamental movement skills we were talking about a little bit before, and Ali mentioned those ones. You can always try to increase the odds of moving by creating a buzz around the activity, or just allowing that open exploration as well. You can start the activity yourself, even if your kids aren't engaged at the start. It probably won't take them long to be involved, especially if either mum or dads or even a sibling are all involved as well. So I guess that's a little bit of peer pressure, but on the good side as well. Another big one is obviously what we spoke about in week 1, so setting those limits around screen time. So hopefully you've had a chance to try some of the strategies, or at least watch the webinar recording in week 1 from Dr. Christy Goodwin, to set some healthy boundaries around screens. So once kids are actively engaged in movement or activity, they will completely forget about their screens and their computer or their iPad as well. So whether it's organised sport or incidental sport, obviously these all add up to help children meet physical activity recommendations. So anything counts, family activities, lounge room fun, working movement into other areas like painting as well. Literacy, numeracy, homework could be a good option. And once again, anytime, any place, just to incorporate just that little bit of physical activity will go a long way as well. And the last one there is play. So once again, a little bit of an underestimated one. Moving on is attitude. So something that all parents and carers are well accustomed to. So let's explore some helpful ways to positively influence your child's behaviour towards physical activity. So that first one on the list is to be a role model. So one of the best ways to get children involved and into physical activity is to be active together. So you can help your child to be active by being a good role model and sending positive messages about being physically active. So this isn't necessarily being amazing at sport, but more so valuing movement as a whole and having fun with it. Another option is obviously keeping it fun. So our kids' priority is to have fun. And so as long as their movement is safe and they are learning and it's encouraged, any physical activity is going to be beneficial. Sometimes it's organised chaos, but kind of just roll with it. So that's a big one there as well. Another option obviously is to continue the praise. So encouraging any behaviour that keeps your child moving will be good in the long term. So we want to focus on effort in rather than the actual outcome. So once again, it nurtures the confidence, and repeating that particular task will provide that growth mindset for yourself and for your child as well. We also want to obviously support the emotions that come along with doing something new. So obviously encouragement and praise, like we just mentioned, but in the words of encouragement and support. So you can throw in some encouragement along the lines of, I know you're nervous about potentially their first soccer game on the weekend, but you'll be okay, you'll be all right, and we'll be right here watching and cheering you on from the sideline as well. The little things like that, just to reinforce, I guess, as parents and carers, I guess, that belief and that encouragement and that support from yourself. Obviously, a big one is knowing that you can praise and encourage your child at any stage and at any age as well. So another big one as well is obviously trying not to use physical activity as a punishment. So this can form a negative relationship with that particular activity, or even just physical activity in general. So it's just something to be aware of, to try and not use it as a punishment for the children as well. It is also good to explore what your child might be like trying different activities. So this can be individual or team-based sports. So I guess just trying a variety, potentially when they're young as well, just finding, I guess, what they enjoy. It might not be necessarily something that would have come straight to mind. And I guess that happens just by trialing a few different activities, whether that's individual or a team-based sport as well. For them, I guess our winner as such is just being that role model and making it fun, which is great. Once again, something that we heavily emphasize throughout. So I'm really glad to see that pop up as well. And so that might be something that you're already doing. So if you're already doing it, I encourage you to keep doing it. If you haven't been potentially strong in that section, maybe that's some ideas that we mentioned tonight might be something that you can take away and incorporate into terms of being a role model as well. Awesome, lovely. So before we do finish up tonight, I would like to just reiterate our take-home messages that we did speak about today. So once again, any movement is good movement for kids. We want active play, 60 minutes a day. And so once again, reiterating that is for our older age group, our 5 to 12, and a little bit more up until that 180 minutes per day for our 2 to 5 year olds as well. And obviously that tummy time for our 0 to 1 year olds. Confidence, attitude, and enjoyment to physical activity is developed at a young age. So these traits, these traits then translate into adulthood. So making long-lasting positive relationships with movement, and that starts from a young age. And obviously the one we just touched on, being a role model and making movement fun. So they're our key take-home messages for tonight. So how can you get more active as a family? So I want to use, I guess, the new skills learned tonight, just to plan ways to increase physical activity in your family this week. So like the other sessions, we do encourage you to set one goal this week related to physical activity and getting your family more active more often. We have provided a few examples on screen now. So that brings us to the end of this evening's session. I hope the information that was shared tonight was useful to you and your family, and that you feel equipped with any new ideas to getting your kids and your family more active.